What's up, ADOS and our allies? You know who it is, Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Friends of ADOS TV channel, bringing you those ADOS hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for Democratic down ballot. Yes, family. Dealing with the miseducation of the ADOS in America. Yes, follow on in. Thank you so much for joining the live. I greatly appreciate your presence. We've got an exciting but brief show for you today. I do believe the debates are at 6 o'clock. We're going to talk a little bit about my national debut on Spectrum News. Shout out to everybody who tuned in and reached out to me. I had no idea it was a national show. And you know what, family? I'm so glad I did not know that it was a national show, because I would have been even more nervous than I already was. Shout out to Shirley Huzar, Urban Game Changers, for giving me the opportunity to be the ambassador for Urban Game Changers on that show. My very Republican friend, Shirley Huzar. Yes, family, it is imperative that we not isolate and estrange each other over our political ideas. What's up, Melanated Integrity? Thank you so much for joining live. Yes. You know, we're not a monolith, family. And none of this gets done unless we rely on each other and who we know and what we know. I have learned a wealth of information. Some of my brightest minds that are in my circle are Republican. Yes, family, coming into politics has brought me into a sphere of influence that I will never reject, because they don't see things politically the way I see them, right? And that's a big challenge this election cycle. Everybody wants us to continue to be the mules of the Democratic Party. And you have a bunch of ADOS, hashtag ADOS, the movement, that are waking up, and they are deciding and taking control of their political education and making decisions about what matters to them in exchange for that vote. So this old-fashioned vote blue no matter who, no matter what, is leaving, okay? It's leaving. We're finally deading that this election cycle. And that ADOS movement is leading the charge. So back to the show. When I was invited by Shirley Huzar to stand in as the ambassador for Spectrum News 1, I thank everybody who tuned in. I had no idea it was a national television show. I thought it was like this, you know, and I'm so glad I thought it was like this, because I was already a basket of nerves just to be in a different environment, right? First of all, the kind lady who interviewed me before going on to the show, she was quite concerned, because, you know, when I speak about ADOS and the puckery in this country against the ADOS to keep us tethered to the bottom, I'm very passionate. And so she was concerned. What's up, Cynthia McDonald? Thank you, ADOS Chicago, 13%. Check out her show for being on the live. Yeah, she was very concerned about that Angela Nirvana smoke that I tend to speak with when I speak in reference to the ADOS, whom I love black and strong. And I said, let me help you understand something. You don't have to worry about me. I have a theater background, which is probably why I'm such a drama queen on the show, family. I cry, I whine, I scream, I cuss folks out. Y'all know me, we family. But I told her, having that background from the London Classical Theater School, shout out to them for cultivating the Shakespeare in me, from the Moscow Art Theater School at Harvard's campus, teaching me the classics. So it's because of those institutions that trained me in the theater that I know two major things: how to match the energy of my host and how to speak to my audience. So I knew the audience would be diverse, even though I didn't know the entire panel was Black. I had no clue. I thought the panel would be as diverse as the audience. Well, we got on the show and they asked several questions about, the debates. That's what we were on there for, to discuss the debates. And if you guys haven't checked out that link, you must do so before they disappear it. But I was on the show with two, all of us were ADOS. What's up, Marty Williams? Thank you for joining the live. All of us was ADOS. Two of them were Democratic loyalists. One was Green Party, and I was the undecided. Now, I do wish I had explained Democratic down ballot after that debacle, after that diabolical debate that we can all agree was strictly diabolical in nature. And so in the end, when they asked me, did that debate help me to make up my mind as an undecided, I let them know, absolutely not. I was undecided because I didn't hear the needs of my people addressed. You guys have got to check the link out. I think I served ADOS proud. Now, I didn't use the term ADOS, okay, because I had to use my government name and my government occupation. Well, I work in the private sector, but I couldn't be Angela Nirvana over there. I had to be my regular name and talk about my regular job and really, act very poised, okay? So the bottom line is I refer to us as American descendants of chattel slavery on that show, and I was able to address the egregious racial wealth gap, which was left out of the zoo and the circus called Donald Trump and Biden. I touched on COVID impacting my family directly. I talked about, how they want to talk about Trump being a white supremacist, because that's, of course, how they opened. And they wanted to talk about Trump, calling on the Proud Boys to stand up and stand by. And I was expressing that Trump called out Biden for being the author of the 94 crime bill. So I was able to touch on how we have close to 1 million Black men in prison, and that, I expect Trump to act a fool. That's his MO. It wasn't really surprising. It was more comical than anything. But the beauty of that show, as Ted Hayes glowingly commended me on, was that I was able to educate white folks and immigrants. They have millions of followers on national TV. So I was able to get out that we are seeking to be made whole. I said neither of them spoke to me about how they intend to close the egregious racial wealth gap. And they're both white supremacists as far as I'm concerned. Until you talk to me about dismantling private prisons and doing away with qualified immunity, you're not talking real reform. Hi, Felina. Thank you so much for joining the live. So it was all these ways in which, now it was a short show, it was about 30 minutes with a commercial break. But if you check out the link, it's on my feed at Angela Nirvana and Facebook. You check that out and you'll see that I did us proud. I was proud of my delivery. I did wish in the end that I would have bolstered our strategy to put that on people's mind, right? Green or blank, top of the ticket, because there's too many restrictions. There's too many states that that are never states and restricted states. We don't want to run the risk of having our ballots thrown out. We don't want to suppress our own vote. So I talked up the green. Well, I didn't do it on the show, but what I had wished I had done was talked about voting green, top of the ticket, Democratic Congress down ballot to protect the over 42% of us since COVID that rely on government assistance by design, to gridlock government and to help get the Green Party to over 5%. The Green Party was actually over 5% the last election cycle. We have Felina Farley, Ohio rep for the Green Party, and she was on the show and said we actually got to something like 7 or 10%. But People are suppressing those votes. They don't want that Green Party heat that's coming for them. So family, I'm asking to give the Green Party, no, we haven't vetted them fully yet, but they've got reparations on their platform. And they've got an ADOS candidate, Angela Walker, who is a truck driver and single mom running as VP on that ticket. We need to get them. Why waste our votes on ADOS when we can get a party who has a very humane platform, inclusive of everyone, 5% that they need to be on every ballot. I posted Howie Hawkins from Angela Walker's page. He did a watch party to talk about the debate. The brother was sharp. As a matter of fact, he sounded like a black white guy. Okay, like his dialect. If you close your eyes, you'd have thought he was a brother. Okay, it was rich. So check them out at the Green Party page. Go to Angela Walker or Howie Hawkins, or even my page where I posted that very lively exchange. Howie Hawkins was sharp. I really liked what he had to say. So check them out and consider doing the down ballot Green Party at the top of the ticket with me, and many of the other ADOS in the movement are intending to vote green top of the ticket. Okay, I'll get to your comments shortly, family. I do want to go to the Washington Post now and talk about, oh my God, we did it, family. The ADOS, I can't just attribute it to California ADOS, okay? We put the call out for you guys in the movement to call in from all over the country to help with the Senate hearings on reparations, AB 3121. I couldn't be prouder of the ADOS throughout the country that called in to vote yes on AB 3121. I couldn't be prouder of Dr. Weber working with the ADOS movement to get California reparations study out of the into the governor's hands, and he has finally signed that bill. And I can't say enough about Ice Cube. Shout out to Ice Cube, family. Buy his records just to show that brother love. He came in at the 11th hour to help us get that signature yesterday. Or let me help you with something, family. That whole entire bill would have turned to smoke. All of that year that we've been axing and grinding to get it quarterback to the governor's desk, it would have been for naught had it not been for Ice Cube using his celebrity to drop that call to the governor to have him sign that bill yesterday. He had explained to Ice Cube that he had 150 bills on his desk, but I promise you, if Ice Cube had not made that call, we would be having a different kind of celebration. It would have been more like a funeral of AB 3121. So from the bottom of my heart to the ADOS movement who helped us get that passed, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough, because the weapons just shockingly on that last Senate hearing call, there was only one objection to the AB 3121 by a Hispanic senator whom we need to work feverishly to unseat. But it was beautiful. I don't know why the detractors didn't show up for the no vote. It was like God put a covering on the whole entire Senate hearing. Every caller, and predominantly was from ADOS. The predominance was ADOS movement putting in that work. And of course, it was a resounding yes on AB 3121. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And when you guys are ready to do the same and replicate it for your states, because you guys know, as goes California, so goes the nation. Now, let's be clear. This is for the state. This is not the big $17 trillion multi-generation that we're all still working tirelessly on, family. So you're going to be getting 2 checks is the goal here. This is the goal. Now, this is just a study. They've not decided how they're going to compensate us, but we have definitely stressed that we expect cash repair. And I don't know if people who are newly moved to California are going to get the repair. I'm not sure if all blacks down here, we're only 6%. And I don't even know of that 6%, what percent is actually American descendants of chattel slavery. But that ADOS put in work with Dr. Weber to get that language in there, that this will be ADOS centered. So we got some influence here because we were able to get in with Dr. Weber to actually influence and impress upon her the importance of ADOS building a fence around the California state reparations. So I'm very hopeful that it will be exclusively ours, because guess what, family? As I've taught you on previous shows, down here in LA, we are 6% down from 16%. We don't even know of that percent how many are ADOS. We are $200 liquid, 90% on Skid Row, 44% degreed, 6% of the private sector. To African immigrants, 60,000 liquid down here. So they don't need repair. And like I said on the prior show, when someone tried to call me out about police brutality and government sanctioned executions and tried to challenge me that these bullets are culture blind, I helped him to understand that $60K gets him Ladera Heights. $200 liquid gets us South Central. And it's not that we don't have very affluent ADOS living in the South Central. We've got professionals there. One comes to mind, one of my parishioners, lives in South Central. So we do have some affluence, but not nearly enough. So the police know how to over-police communities where we are ADOS, 200 liquid, are by and large the group that they're executing, okay? They're not in the neighborhoods where you're $60,000 liquid, okay? So there we have it. So let's dig in, because lots of folks don't even understand how in the world did California participate in slavery as a free state? Let's get into it, okay? Because I'm trying to get y'all out. Washington Post, 12 hours ago. I lost my article, y'all. Bear with. I'm going to be reading from the Washington Post about reparations bill passing, and it touches on how this was a free state, but still slavery. Okay, let's see here. That was from today. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay, everybody's talking about it. But I want the Washington Post specifically. Hold on. I had it up, family, and then it disappeared. Okay, here we go. 13 hours ago now. Okay, I'm going to read this with you and comment in between, okay? Oh, God. I'm going to try to get this over with so I can get to my book reading. California was a free state, but there was still slavery. Now reparations are on the table. Hercules. Okay, hold on. Alvin Coffey took a wagon train to the California gold rush, hoping to mine enough gold to buy his and his family's freedom. But his enslaver double-crossed him. Archie Lee lost his freedom when the California Supreme Court ruled Lee's former enslaver could reclaim his property even in a free state. This is a lot of what we've been discussing in Prejudential, right, family? How the Democrats and the Republicans alike were instrumental even after emancipation with either trying to re-enslave us through sharecropping, through ratting us out and returning us to our slave owners, to trying to exile us to Haiti and Africa. We've been going through Prejudential by Margaret Kimberly, of which I'll get through shortly, okay? Robert Perkins built a successful mining supply business near Sacramento after his enslaver returned to Mississippi without him. Then he was arrested. Bridget Biddy Mason was enslaved in San Bernardino. When her enslavers wanted to take her with them to Texas, she knew she had to make a move. These are just some of the hidden stories of slavery in California that may soon get new attention after California Governor Gavin Newsome signed a law Wednesday that will establish a task force to study the state's role in slavery. The task force will make recommendations for reparations, a formal apology, and how to educate the public about this history. Quote, California's rich diversity is our greatest asset, and we won't turn away from this moment to make right the discrimination and disadvantages that Black Californians and people of color, which I cannot stand, that they're always trying to make it about people of color, family. This has nothing to do with people of color. We were the enslaved down here, okay? So please, this is ADOS, but we'll let him have his words, given that he did sign the bill, although we were at deadline. He signed it. Thank you, Ice Cube. People of color still face, Newsome said. The law is the first of its kind for a state and had bipartisan support in the legislature. Isn't that beautiful, family? Bipartisan support. Whew, and that's powerful. In February, the state's assembly passed a resolution apologizing for the state's role in sending Japanese immigrants and Japanese Americans to internment camps during World War II. California has come to terms with many of its issues, but it has yet to come to terms with its role in slavery, said California Assemblywoman Shirley Weber, who wrote and sponsored the bill. Shout out to you, Dr. Weber. Thank you. Though bipartisan, the measure has its critics. William Darity Jr., a Duke University economics professor, a reparations expert, shout out to Dr. Darity, told the website Cal Matters that no single state could launch an action large enough to be called reparations. Quote, I have a sense of proprietariness about the use of the term reparations because I think people should not be given the impression that the kinds of steps that are taken at the state or local level actually constitute a comprehensive or true reparations plan. Close quote, Darity said in Cal Matters. Whatever California does perhaps could be called atonement, or it could be called a correction for past actions, close quote. And let me, this is me speaking. I agree with Dr. Darity. We do run a risk of the federal trying to pass off reparations through the state repair by calling it reparations. I totally get what he is saying. Let's just continue to lean in and be a part of that process to guarantee that it doesn't usurp the federal reparations in the trillions over multi-generations. I heard one quote and posted on my site, I think we're owed about 24 trillion. Darity's number is 17 trillion, but it's massive. And that's the hope and the prayer that this state repair does not usurp what the federal government, who is by and large the biggest of all the criminals, okay? And we've been reading about how in Prejudential, and everybody's show touches on this. Anywho, back to the article. The law specifies that any state action should not be considered a replacement for federal measures. That's some protection there. Weber says she hoped the California law might inspire action nationally. There have been bills to study reparations before the U.S. Congress for decades. Me speaking. I agree with Yvette Carnell. Okay. There may have been bills to study it before the U.S. Congress for decades, but ADOS breathed life into this initiative during this election cycle to make it a national and international outcry. for the reparations. So shout out yet again to the ADOS movement. We are the movement. I know I am a proud founding member of ADOS SoCal, as are many of you in the feed that have helped to find your chapters. So be proud of yourself and your work and your advocacy against all the naysayers. We have had so much oppression of our ideals, even by ADOS, the lineage. And we have leaned in for this remarkable, miraculous time, such as now, for this study of California state reparations. That, my family, is a peek into your future about the power of your political engagement. All the studying we have done, all the calls we have made, all the meetings we have had. I couldn't be prouder of you. This is what we're giving birth to. This is a peek into our future. Lean in, ADOS, ADOS rising. Let the haters hate. ADOS rising all the way over the top. Lean in. Back to the text. The first hearing on reparations, the first actual hearing on reparations was in 2019. Who was that, family? Putting in work. The revolution is being social mediaized. Yes, pat yourself on the back with both arms. Y'all did that. We did that collectively. I couldn't be prouder. I couldn't be prouder. Back to the text. Many white Southerners who moved to California territory during the gold rush from 1848 to the mid-50s brought the people they enslaved with them, according to Susan D. Anderson, the history curator of the California African American Museum. Quote, in the beginning, they were forced to work in the mines like everybody else, Anderson told the Washington Post in a phone interview. But once they got here, they were hired out as cooks, as farmers. They were servants. Who knew this richness was down here? California was admitted as a state as part of a deal between lawmakers representing slave and free states, known as the Compromise of 1850. In exchange for passing legislation making California a free state, tipping the balance of power toward free states, lawmakers also passed a strict fugitive slave law that effectively, quote, turned the criminal justice system and the legal system in the United States into bounty hunters for the slave owners, Anderson said. How many of y'all knew that? Type it in the chat. I knew that at the same time California was a free state, that the lawmakers passed a strict fugitive slave law that effectively turned the criminal justice system and legal system of the U.S. into bounty hunters for the slave owners. By a show of hands. So California was technically a free state. White settlers were not abolitionists. It was more that they didn't want any black people there at all. Sounds like all the presidents I've been reading about, right? Emancipate us and exile us to Africa and Haiti after they use up the shoes, after they amass $11 trillion from our heinous chattel slavery, the worst of its kind in the entire known globe, and have amassed over sharing above and beyond 100 trillion household dollars to ADOS less than 700 billion since COVID. Now we don't want you. Throw away the shoes. Everywhere in this country. That's what we're dealing with right now, right, family? That's what we're dealing with. The slave patrol, the KKK, in the police force, able to get away with murder in your own home. Rest in paradise, Breonna Taylor. Able to murder you as a vigilante. Shout out, rest in paradise, Ahmaud Arbery. George Floyd, we are at George Floyd 846. And these clowns of presidential candidates want to get up here and clown each other. And that's the beauty of the ADOS movement. If we effectively deliver on a green top and a dimmed down ballot, green or blank top and a dimmed down ballot, guess what we get more of? What we see in these debates. Let a Trump get it at the top in the Democrat Congress. Let them do what they displayed to the world that they do best. Outbest each other in white supremacy. Let them have at it, family. Let them tear each other to shreds. Maybe by 2024, they'll be singing a different tune. They'll be whistling Dixie reparations for the ADOS in 2024. That is the plan. That is the strategy. Spread the word. Make it go viral. Back to the text. Though California, I think I said this already, but I'll read it again. Though California was technically a free state, white settlers were not abolitionists. It was more that they didn't want any black people there at all. That's what's happening right now. We're being replaced down here by the Latinx community. They want to open up the borders to 11 million more. That's what your Democrats want to do. We're less than 6% because that's conflated with African and Caribbean immigrants. Down from 16% ADOS down here. They have suppressed our wages and won't offer jobs no matter how educated you are. It does not close a $100 trillion egregious racial wealth gap. No matter how many gig jobs inflate the unemployment figures to make you think unemployment has been done away with. Gig jobs will not close the egregious racial wealth gap. You may have income today, but over 60 million people in this country are laid off due to COVID. What percentage of that do you think is ADOS? And if the COVID don't take you out, what do you think about the economic crash that's coming for the ADOS? We lost 43% of our wealth under Obama. While he created 1 million white millionaires through the laws that they now fake outrage over from Trump having used the law, Obama, using his law to get big write-offs, going in there and getting millions in refunds. Yeah. And this is what y'all want us to show up for while they're continuing to tell us no to our reparations. And Kamala Harris is telling you, I'm not doing anything specifically for black folks. And Biden, Jim Crow Joe, tells you, ain't nothing fundamentally gonna change. Y'all got us, the ADOS movement hashtag, all the way mixed up if y'all think we voting for this. Before Peter Burnett became the first elected governor of California, he penned a law in Oregon country banning black people. That bears repeating. Before Peter Burnett became the first elected governor of California, he penned a law in Oregon country banning black people. Slavery persisted in California until it was abolished nationally, Anderson said. There were no inventories of enslaved people, and the 1850 census was famously faulty. So it is probably impossible to know how many people were enslaved in the Golden State. There were at least several hundred, and possibly many more, Anderson said. There were ads for sales of enslaved people in California newspapers. Because California was the frontier and the wild, there were people that ran away when they could, she said. About 2,000 free black people, largely from New York and Massachusetts, chose to move to California during the gold rush, according to Anderson, and they often helped the enslaved to escape. Thank you, ADOS, for helping ADOS. That's what happened to Biddy Mason in 1856. Over the years, she had been forced to move with her enslavers from Georgia to Utah to California, where she met and befriended free black people. When she learned her enslavers planned to take her to Texas, she asked them for help. Her friends alerted the sheriff, who rescued her. Mason wasn't allowed to testify at the hearing about her own freedom, but a judge still declared her and her children forever free. Mason became a midwife and eventually became one of the richest women in California, buying a homestead in what is now downtown Los Angeles. Isn't that rich, family? Now imagine, once you have your reparations, how you too can become just like the incomparable Biddy Mason. You can use your reparations to build your businesses and to leave generational, inheritable wealth to your babies and their babies and their babies. ADOS, 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 rising. We are here. Lean in, fam. Back to the text. This will probably go over because I'm luxuriating with this article and I don't want to stop reading it. So, and I still have to get to my other two dead presidents. So if you have to run to go and watch the madness during the debates, I think it's at 6 o'clock Pacific, you can pick up the show where you leave off. It'll be archived in the YouTube space under Friends of ADOS TV, where you should be a subscriber. Okay. And you can find it at Friends of ADOS TV in the Facebook. And I'll probably be doing a watch party because y'all know how I do. I have to run it into the ground because this is just rich. This is epic. This is epic. Yesterday, one of my parishioners turned 99. This woman looks like 70. And I got a chance to speak with her. I got a chance to treat her to dinner. I ordered it in for her. She has no health issues. She speaks as clearly as you and I. 99, she's all over my Facebook feed. And Governor Newsome signed the reparations. Family, I have been riding so high that ADOS DMV Tansy Flakes had to ask me, what are you doing up so early when she saw me in Facebook? It has just been heady. This is a huge victory for the ADOS movement. Back to the text. So do what you must do, but the show must go on. I think this show is more important than the crap that's going to be advertised on the major networks. That's garbage. I doubt they'll be saying anything different. It's hard to shame racist. Archie Lee got help from the free Black community in San Francisco in 1857. When he found out his enslaver planned to take him back to Mississippi, he ran away and hid in a hotel owned by Black abolitionists. He was arrested, freed by a judge, and then arrested again when the California Supreme Court reversed the decision. Burnett, the racist former governor, was one of the justices. Eventually, a federal court freed him permanently, and he moved to Canada. In 1849, Charles Perkins, his brother Carter, and another man were forced to work in California mines. When their enslaver decided to return to Mississippi, he could only afford passage for himself. Isn't that wonderful? The men earned their freedom from the white man who had been put in charge of them and started their own business. That's why you need them to run you that reparations in the trillions over multi-generations. ADOS LA, $200 liquid. ADOS Boston, $8 liquid. ADOS Miami, $11 liquid. You don't believe me? Look it up. Color of Wealth, LA. Color of Wealth, Boston. Color of Wealth, Miami. That's why the ADOS is fighting everywhere for that reparations, so our children don't have to rely on their white supremacist oppressors to give them jobs when they can be in business for themselves, having their own write-offs, using the tax laws to help them keep their wealth and grow their wealth. But then, Always some puckery around the corner, family. California passed its own fugitive slave law, and within weeks, they were arrested and sent back to Mississippi to be re-enslaved. I feel you, ancestors, I do. This is what you do when you get weary out here, when your own ADOS lineage is slinging mud at you, when there's infighting in the movement, when there's agents of chaos from without and from within, family. You lean on the strength of your ancestors, because no matter what we go through in this movement, it will never, ever, ever be comparable to what our ancestors went through. And if you don't owe it to your children to get this reparations and to disrupt this election cycle and every last one hereafter until they cut that check, you owe it to the ancestors. It was rumored at the time that the men escaped when their ship neared Panama, Anderson wrote in the California Historical Society. Then there was Alvin Coffey. He made the trip from Missouri to California 3 times total. The first time he gathered more than $6,000 in gold dust to buy his and his family's freedom. His enslaver, a doctor, had agreed to the deal. But when the time came, the doctor took the gold and sent him back to Missouri. That was actually pretty common, Anderson said. Coffey was able to make his way back to California. Can you imagine? We sit up here and talk about how tired we are. Can you imagine all the times they fought to be free? All the times they ran away and escaped. All the times the white supremacists in government and at large were trying to continue to keep them tethered to the bottom. This is why we need therapy, family. A lot of what is happening today with the agents of chaos within and without have everything to do with post-traumatic slave syndrome. Coffey was able to make his way back to California, and this time successfully bought his freedom and then the freedom of his wife and children in a free state that passed a fugitive slave law. He became a leader in his community and helped to build schools for Black children. That's another thing we'll be able to do with our reparations. Educate our own about this rich history that has been hidden from us. That's why this book club series is called The Miseducation of the ADOS, in America spelled with 3 Ks. He became a leader in his community and helped build schools for Black children who at the time were banned from public schools. Family legend has it the kids were taught by John Brown's daughters. Michelle Thompson, a retired civil servant in Walnut Creek, is Coffey's great-great-granddaughter. His freedom papers passed down to her from her father, who was pioneering in his own way. He was the first Black police officer in Oakland. Quote, I think the first Black this, first Black that with my father, and I think, hey, we're not that far from slavery, Thompson told the Post in a phone interview. So, with the new reparations law, would Thompson accept possible compensation for the $6,000 stolen from her great-grandfather? It would be $200,000 today. She wouldn't mind a check, but she isn't seeking one, Thompson said. First of all, Coffey had 9 kids, and some of them had a dozen kids each. There are a lot of relatives to split it with today, she said. Okay, me speaking. Stop this nonsense. This is a part of your conditioning. This is the white oppressor still in your head. Who in the world would refuse $200,000 no matter how many people you have to split it with? And I believe a lot of ADOS, the lineage, is on this nonsense because their disbelief in it even happening. I really believe that they talk this foolishness because of their disbelief. And it's easier to buffer the disappointment if it doesn't come to fruition than to be full-chested. Well, the ADOS movement don't have that problem. And for those of you who don't believe in reparations because you too are bound in the head by your white oppressors, inbox me for my P.O. box where you can send your checks when they cut them. Okay? And she wouldn't be splitting that check with her relatives. That's an ignorant thing to say, to think that her check should satisfy everybody in his lineage. Even if that were the case, she should be willing to split it and to say no to it. To me, if you want to do something to compensate for slavery, put that money where it's going to do some good, she said. Use it to improve failing schools. Another miseducated ADOS, with all due respect. They don't use the money to improve failing schools. They will take that money to improve white children's schools. Second to them will be immigrants. You'd be lucky to see 10 cents. With all due respect, don't be foolish enough to offer your reparations to improving failing schools. That is a joke. I had to fight for my daughter to be educated in the white public schools where my tax dollars as a homeowner feed into, while the black and brown schools are failing because they lack the resources. Some of y'all need to really brush up on your history and understand how you weigh in as ADOS lineage and how you have been factored out. You are a non-factor. You are tethered to the bottom as the wealthless group because capitalism requires a bottom caste. They've decided over and over and over and over again that we were it. And the ADOS movement is in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming the permanent underclass that our country built with their lives. Our ancestors, rather. In the country our ancestors built with their lives. The reparations is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. We are the legs of that table. Stop this nonsense. Know your history. She might be doing well, but 90% of ADOS, 90% of the blacks in this country share less than $700 billion since COVID. Lost 43% of their wealth under Obama. This is when you know people don't understand the history in this country. Relative to us, they've not studied it. Because when you know, you can't not know. Am I right? To the people in the movement, in the chat, once you know, you can't not know. Once you know, you can't not know. Pick up a book and then get in the fight. Anyway, family, that's the end of the article. Read more, Metropolis something colon. I'm going to share this link right now in the chat for you guys as I prepare to read from my Prejudential book. Okay, family? Let me see what y'all doing. I had to pull away to come over here to talk to you. So if you come onto the live, I thank you so, so much for joining the live and sharing in this celebration of a very historical moment that the ADOS movement is privileged to be a part of. I couldn't be prouder. Our efforts are not in vain. Let me see what you guys are doing over here. Oh, okay. Taj Marie, what's up? Thank you for joining the live, my love. Nicole Williams, Crimson, thank you for joining the live. Taj Marie, Mark. Oh, these are all my faithfuls. Absolutely nobody. I thank you for joining the live. Cosetta Osler, ADOS Truth, Erie Black Fire. Thank you, my love. Antonia Edwards, I see you, sister. Love you, black and strong, and I owe you a call. Rashawn Graham, I thank you for joining the live. Melanated Integrity, I saw you. I think you were one of the first to come in the building. Cynthia McDonald. Oh, there's my ADOS. Yeah, these are the ones in the movement, slinging bricks. And shout out to all of you who aren't in the chat and tuning in. I so appreciate your presence. I love you, black and strong. And I love that we are all in this fight together. ADOS rising with a Z. I love it. Thank you for joining the live. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I'll get to your comments momentarily. Like I said, I'm trying to get y'all out of here, but I was born to talk. So y'all know me. It may go over. I would choose me over the debates, but I overstand if you have to go. I love you for being here for the time that we've had together. It just warms my little heart. So let's read about two more dead presidents, and then I'll pray us out, okay? I'll read your comments to see if there's anything in there that you guys want me to show and share. Okay, so tonight we're on Benjamin Harrison and let's see here. Grover Cleveland, okay? Grover Cleveland again, okay? We did him Tuesday. He had another term after Benjamin Harrison. Let's read all about it. From 1889 to 1893, Benjamin Harrison was the grandson of William Henry Harrison, the 31-day president. He was also a Republican, and that meant that his election was a cause of great optimism among Black people. Harrison's, did you hear that? That meant that his election was a cause of great optimism among Black people, right? Because back in the gap, the Republicans are who the Democrats now are, and the Democrats were who the Republicans were. Okay, so it switched. It switched. Back then, Abe Lincoln was a Republican. Andrew Johnson, who took away the 40 acres and a mule, was a Democrat. Or a Demorat, like I affectionately call them. Anywho, Republicans and Democrats. Harrison's personal history gave some legitimacy to the wishful thinking. During the Civil War, General Benjamin Harrison defended the federal government in an 1864 lawsuit brought by Confederate sympathizers who had been imprisoned by the Union Army. He directly addressed the racism that was wrought by the chattel slavery system. Quote, "One of the meanest things in this whole world order, one of the meanest political sentiments it ever uttered, was its constant expression of hatred of the Negroes." Close quote. These comments were not an isolated incident of language deployed to win a court case. When the Civil Rights Act of 1875 was overturned by the Supreme Court on October 15, 1883, Harrison spoke 8 days later to a group of colored citizens. Quote, "There has never been a proposition looking to the striking off of a shackle from the Black man's wrist or from his mind or from his personal freedom which has not received my hearty endorsement and my personal help. Not one." Close quote. During his 1888 campaign against then President Cleveland, he reiterated his support of the franchise. Quote, "I feel very strongly upon the question of a free ballot. I would not be willing to purchase the presidency for a compact of silence upon this question, close quote. But Harrison was less than enthusiastic about protecting the rights of Black Americans after he assumed office. And folks out here want us to wait for Biden to get into office before we ask him for anything. You clearly don't know politics and how it works. You clearly saw how ineffective that was once Obama got into office. Everybody was stuck on the identity politics with Obama. We got swept up in euphorism over a Black man who is not ADOS. They got us that time. They won't be getting us this time. Trust and believe, boo-boos. Anywho, back to the text. Once again, Black Republicans received only a few token appointments. When Harrison met with Southern white Republicans, he assured them that they needn't worry about the end of slavery. The Federal Elections Bill of 1890 had the appearance of legislation that could pass in the Republican-controlled Congress. It called for federal oversight of elections in cities with more than 20,000 people. Any congressional district where more than 100 voters requested this supervision, and counties or parishes upon the application of 50 voters. This was essentially the same measure that Grover Cleveland had campaigned against, the so-called Force Bill. It would have applied to the whole country, but it was logically understood to be needed most in the southern states, where they constantly are suppressing our votes. The House passed the bill, but the Senate never took action. Democrats retook control of the House in 1890, and in April 1891, Harrison responded by making a pilgrimage to the South with cabinet members and his family in tow. Memphis, Tennessee Mayor Lucas Clapp made it clear who was in charge when he said in his introduction of the president that there was a paramount aim and purpose with us to guard our social purity, preserve our civilization, and maintain Caucasian prestige and supremacy. See, when you know your history, you can understand the politics of today. This is what it's born out of. Which is why there's no pissing match between Trump and Biden. They're both white supremacist racists and oppressors. Cut from the same cloth. The president said nothing in response. He went on to discuss the theme of his trip, that majority rule held sway in American law. He was telling white Southerners to forget about efforts to make them follow the 14th and 15th Amendments of the Constitution. They could do as they wished. Like other Republican presidents at the end of the 19th century, Harrison wanted to get white Southern votes, and that meant that Black people and their political needs had to be ignored. Who's that sound like? Family. Biden and Kamala. Green or blank top of the ticket if you don't have green in your state. And if the Democrats haven't done all they can to suppress the green, they've already done so in Texas. Last time I read, they were working on Pennsylvania to suppress that green vote. So green or blank top of the ticket, dim down ballot. Do you see why? They could do as they wish. Like other Republican presidents at the end of 19th century, Harrison wanted to get white Southern votes, and that meant, okay, that Black people and their political needs had to be ignored. Harrison made no effort to pass the federal elections bill, and the lack of presidential imperative led to its inevitable death. And this is why they won't allow ex-felons to vote. This is why I had another point to make. I lost it. This is why they don't want you to show up to the polls, family. ADOS ain't on that. You do not get to be politically lazy. No. We need every ADOS in this country to show up to the polls, vote green or blank top a ticket Democratic down ballot. Joe, what's up? What's up, Joe Hankins? I love y'all, Black and Strong. Okay, let's move on back over to Grover Cleveland. This is his second time, family. Oh, dude, Jesus, Lord of mercy. 1893 to 1897, it's time to break the back of the establishment, family. Y'all might be scared of Trump. I am more afraid of the extinction of the ADOS. They've been trying to extinct us since they emancipated us. They want to throw away the shoes. We were here before America was even formed. Built the country. You don't get to be politically lazy. You must show up to the polls and help to gridlock this country. Let them have that pissing match like they're doing on the debates. 4 years. Let them hug it out, fight it out, claw it out, scratch it out. And let them continue to do that every election cycle henceforth till they run us that reparations in the trillions over multi-generations. I implore upon you that if you continue to give the Democrats a trifecta, it is going to be at our peril. We are at DEFCON 4. We are at George Floyd 846. Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, Elijah McClain, Ahmaud Arbery. It would take me an entire show for several hours to run down all the names. Grover Cleveland, so y'all can go and watch y'all's debates. 1893 to 1897 is short too. And then I'll pray you out. I'll have to put a covering over you. We're doing some serious labor-intensive work here, family. We don't get this done without the God in us that courses through our vein, that God that is your very inhale and exhale, that God that is your very heartbeat. None of it gets done without that. You got to be alive to get this done, okay? So I have to cover you because it gives me peace of mind, all right? So let me read Grover Cleveland. 1893 to 1897. The presidential election of 1892 represented a repeat of the Benjamin Harrison-Grover Cleveland rivalry, with Cleveland winning a second term. Cleveland made it clear that he would live up to the reputation of the Democrats as the white people's party. What's changed? He spoke against the already defeated federal elections bill, the so-called force bill. The Democratic Party platform bizarrely claimed that it would injure the colored citizen more than the white. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And that it would lead to the subjugation of the colored race to the control of the party in power and the reviving of race antagonisms now happily abated. This is why I can't come on here and fool with y'all every day. This is why this stuff just... This is why I gotta take mental health break days, y'all. I can't do it every day. I can't. I tried. The Democrats controlled the White House and both houses of Congress. The lesson that Republicans took from the overwhelming defeat was that white America either wanted to actively deprive blacks of all human and citizenship rights, or at a minimum, didn't want to hear about blacks and their problems. What's different? What's different? Write it in the chat. If 2020 has fostered anything different than 1893 to 1897 and before. Don't want to hear about our problems. We build all the wealth. $200 liquid ADOS LA, $8 liquid ADOS Boston, $11 liquid in Miami. Dying disproportionately from COVID. Dying disproportionately from government-sanctioned executions by the race soldiers. Miseducated, redlined into environmentally hazardous and racist communities with all the health issues. And y'all want to continue this lesser two evil two-step shuffle all the way to your people's peril. No assets, no wealth to leave your children. Tired, depressed, suicide. No health care. And y'all want to continue this. Y'all don't want to weaponize the only commodity you've got, your vote, to upset this election cycle. You got the wrong one. Because I'm pushing it every day. The movement take catnaps. I'll be doing it and doing it again next election cycle until they cut that check in the trillions over multi-generations. That's my square. And that's the square of the ADOS movement. The Supreme Court handed down its notorious Plessy v. Ferguson decision during Cleveland's second term. The court ruled by a vote of 8-1 that discrimination was constitutional and not a violation of the 14th Amendment. Cleveland said nothing after this decision was made in May of 1896, but had rarely spoken up when a black man made the same case the previous fall. And y'all think these Democrats really give a rip about the Supreme Court? Baylor Ginsburg should have stepped her ass down if they cared about the Supreme Court and the rights of black folks. I said it. And you got Negroes weeping crocodile tears over that eugenist. 20 million black babies aborted since 73. That last count was a bazillion years ago. And y'all crying over RBG, who was besties with Scalia. Y'all got me mixed all the way up. I don't cry for my oppressors on both sides of the aisle. I'm the one standing in the need of prayer. Y'all pray for me. On September 18, 1895, Booker T. Washington gave his famous Atlanta Compromise speech in which he made the case for black accommodation to white rule in exchange for work and education. Quote, "The wisest among my race understand that the agitation of questions of social equality is the extremest folly," close quote. The compromise made him the king of black patronage, the gatekeeper for black aspiration, which we suffer from today. Many black folks have become like our oppressors. Do it for yourself. Pull yourselves up by your bootless straps. A lot of black white supremacists running around here in the government and amongst us. But let me help you with something. As long as any of us are enslaved, it means all of us are. We ain't on that self-individualism over here. We are on that collective upliftment. I can't be a success when my people are being plundered. Because those bullets know no pedigree. They don't care how much education you've got. So y'all can sit here and act like you don't care if you want to until it visits your doorstep. Then maybe you'll pick up a brick. Cleveland agreed with Washington wholeheartedly and told him so effusively, quote, "Your words cannot fail to delight and encourage all who wish well for the race. And if your colored fellow citizens do not favor your utterances, gather new hope and form new determination to gain every valuable advantage offered them by their citizenship. It will be strange indeed. Ain't that about a blip? Citizenship, and we're still not American, and it's 2020. You're still not American. How are you supposed to feed your kids? How are you supposed to college educate them on the premise of just your citizenship without your 40 acres and a damn mule? With suppressed wages, we still don't make comparable to white women and white men, and we build all the wealth. Shit pisses me off. After Cleveland left office, see, this is why I can't see many slave movies. This is how I go into work. Just madder than a rattlesnake, hotter than fish grease. But I got to do this because I need more ADOS lineage with our strategy. Now, you see us getting it done. It's 90 degrees down here, y'all. We are in October. Forgive me. And let me finish so I can get y'all out. I'm so sorry. I just go on these rampages. Forgive me. Y'all ain't missing nothing but another circus. Y'all be all right. I got a couple more paragraphs. Hang in there. Good Lord. After Cleveland left office, he and Washington reunited in New York on April 14, 1903 at the Southern Education Association dinner. Andrew Carnegie was present, as were other philanthropists, and the mayor of New York City. As a quartet from historically black Hampton University sang "Old Black Joe," the former president said these words, quote, "Let us try to be tolerant and considerate of the feelings and even the prejudice or racial instinct of our white fellow countrymen of the South." I just cannot with y'all, dead presidents. Oh my goodness. Let us try to be tolerant and considerate of the feelings and even the prejudice or racial instinct of our white fellow countrymen of the South, who in the solution of the Negro problem must, amid their own surroundings, bear the heat of the day and stagger under the weight of the white man's burdens. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is wearing me out. Thank God it's almost over. Thank God it's almost over. Oh my goodness. We're supposed to empathize with the white folks and their ways. That's what he's telling y'all to do. Oh my God. Oh, child, Jesus. Lord, today. I cannot. Bear the heat of the day and stagger under the weight of the white man's burden, the Negro. We were the white man's burden. To this day, we are the white man's burden. Be proud of that and lean in. Last paragraph, I pray y'all out. Cleveland had been out of office for 7 years, but as the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, he still had hopes for regaining that office. The San Francisco Call reported, quote, "If there had been any doubt that Grover Cleveland has third-term aspirations, that doubt was dispelled tonight when the former president made a palpable bid for Southern support. Cleveland was never president again, thank God, but the script for winning that office has changed little since that time." Is that not the T.R. Ruth? Let me see what y'all got to say. Nisi, thank you for joining the live. Thank you to everybody watching. Greetings, sister. I love y'all black and strong. Preach. Marty, thank you for joining the live, my love. Okay. Felina, I know Margaret Kimberly. She's on the board. She's on the board. Wait. You know Margaret Kimberly, the author of this book, Felina? She's on what board? On the Black Agenda Report. I missed it. What? Girl, you got to call me or text me. Cynthia says, and Biden says, sidestep the push too. Oh, I don't know what that means. Y'all got to give me a little context. I don't see the comments as I'm going. Melanated Integrity said, big up to our elder, Ted Hayes. Yes. Oh, I love him so. Ted Hayes is the GOAT. That's right, Cynthia. We're going to talk about that Monday, sis. Awesome. Okay. Rashawn Graham, perfect. Yeah, both of them are white supremacists. It's what I told my brothers from 100 Black Men of Long Beach. Okay, Rashawn, you down here with me? I got to get with you. Yes, please inbox me, Angela Nirvana. Cynthia McDonald, they need to learn what real reparations is. Absolutely. Melanated Integrity, thank you, my love. You put Angela Walker Green Party in there. I love you for that. We quick. We called. Big up, Ice Cube. Yes, Melanated. Yes, Cynthia. Yes, Ice Cube redeemed himself. Yep. There's a whole lot of whole lot of them from the Shy that need to step on up. Yes, Michael B. Jordan owes big time. Yes. I am proud, says Rashad. Yes, family. Antonia Edwards. Hey, says, always speaking nothing but the truth. ADOS New England in the house. B1 fam. Yes. You know I love all of us. We all bleed ADOS, B1, FBA. I'm not on that stuff. Other folks is fighting that. That's not my monkey or my circus. I love us all, Black and strong. What's good, family? True. Congratulations, Angela, for all your hard work, educating and advocating for so many of us. You are a woman of the ADOS village. We are so proud of you. Thank you. That means the world to me when my people, my tribe is proud of me. Because you know, I done lost a lot of family and friends over this, but I got new family and friends. Look at God. Rosanna Osler, ADOS, Arkansas Rising. I see your family, Nicole. Yes, say it, Angela. So true. Absolutely nobody says. Nicole, while the party's agendas are starting to include home ownership, how can you buy a home on the unemployment line and homelessness? You got to fix the bare necessities first. Ain't they doing everything they can to say no to reparations, family? Gunda, I love you, Black and strong, my brother. ADOS, yes. Taj Marie, congratulations to ADOS SoCal, ADOS LA for getting the work done. Thank you so much, Taj Marie. We love y'all, Black and strong. Exactly, Nicole says, our people perish for a lack of knowledge. Yes, Mark. Don't forget to mention all the stolen intellectual property. What haven't we invented that they've made all the money off of? Absolutely, family. Absolutely. Thank you for that reminder. All of our inventions, everything they stole. ADOS Rising, I see you, fam. You guys are doing, Joe Hankins says, you guys are doing great. Move ahead and keep knocking. Yes, indeed. We're all doing great. Once again, this was not just California. Folks was calling in from all over the country to sound the alarm on that AB 3121. I thank you, movement, with everything in me. Y'all are getting it done. Everybody else is playing with it. But that ADOS is here for it, baby. Changing the game in this country. You know, I'm just excited. Okay, let me calm down and get y'all out. Down barriers, bam. Joe, isn't it amazing how much time supremacists expound on keeping us suppressed? Oh my God, it is exactly. And I hear the disgust in your voice. We're here now to make them eat their words. MLK knew, MLK, those last 3 years, that's why they killed him. He was coming for that check. They like to miseducate you and make him appear like he was docile. ADOS is picking up where he left off. And I couldn't be prouder to be in this movement with y'all. Joelle, oh my God, I love you. That's my diaper buddy. And she runs for office often. She's going to get it in Ohio. I know she is because we're going to help her. I love my sister Angela Nirvana. I don't always agree, but I would kick a MF ass for you. See, that's my family. That's my diaper buddy. I love you, sister. Oh my God, we like blood. Melanated Integrity. We back on FD Live. We were on the YouTube Live. We shared sentiments there as well. Facebook. Live is the superior quality within the artificial intelligence. Please take it from us. We know Facebook engineering and Facebook design. I stay in Facebook jail. Let me know your show, family. Shout it out. Y'all got the 13%. Check out Be the Power. Check out Breaking Brown. Melanated Integrity. I do recall you having a show. Please, if you have a show, put it in the comments, okay? Let folks tune in. Learn more from you guys. You're such brilliant, beautiful minds out there. Joe says, I'm voting at the polls. I decided early on. Me too, sister. I'm going early vote. I don't trust the mail. I don't think you should either. Don't suppress your vote. If you're in good condition, put your mask on, get out there early, okay? Or drive by. Some of them have drive by. Yes, rip to DA, DNC, rip to DeAndre Blanchard. Thank you for joining the live. Yes, rip to the DNC, national and local. Yeah. We need the Democratic Congress, family. We cannot take a trifecta of either party. It will be to our peril. If either party get the top in the Congress, we have got to gridlock it. So more of what you saw exhibited on the debates will be in the White House the next 4 years. Won't that be lovely, family? We've got the power. Let's do it. Joe says, damn right, Angela. Tosh says, it also comes down to the calculus of 4 more years of neoconservatism versus 8 years of neoliberalism. There isn't even a slither of difference between the two. Amen and amen. That's why I say gridlock it. Make them hug it out until they come to their senses. Media Engagement Solutions. I thank you so much, family, for joining the live. I don't know what that means. C, hashtag MES, users A1 for ADOS. I don't really know what that means, but okay. Truth. They also know that by murdering the male, then demonizing our women, the birth rate will decrease immensely. Isn't that a gospel truth, Joe Hankins? There is a design in the music to weaponize music against us to turn one on the other. And they're doing everything with these other groups to make them ADOS, which they will never be. You will never have what we possess naturally, no matter how much you pay for it, Kim Kardashian, to turn the men's attention away from their beautiful Nubian goddesses of the ADOS, okay? Don't fall for the tricks, family. Don't allow your children to listen to the exploitative music designed to have us murdering each other and just being over-sexualized. You have to be the gatekeeper for your children, and you have to educate them on the genocidal plans against them. They're weaponizing everything to destroy and extinct us. Don't you allow it, family. It's on us. I'm moving down quickly. God bless you. YVOC Info, thank you for joining the live, my love. God bless you too, sweetie. Blind Focus 1, thank you for joining the live. I'm just getting to the meat and potatoes, y'all, because I got to get you out of here. Nicole says, no, still the same. Don't give a damn about us. Even now, with all the hype, it's fake. They just waiting for the atmosphere to go back to normal, but ADOS ain't going nowhere. Let me tell you something, family. That's what's going to happen if we allow the Democrats at the top of the ticket and at the bottom. Everybody will get the bag, and we will stay on the bottom. And that is what they're working on by offering a platform for Republicans to protect their corporate interests and their billions, by offering a platform to immigrants. They have nothing for you. Just go on over to Biden's site. You will see the nothing burger that is there. DeAndre, those are the ones with the defeated and cowardice mindset. Yeah, absolutely, fam. Universal Mike Michelson, I love you, Black and Strong. Thank you so much for being on the live. Hey, since I came in late, was getting up to speed. Yeah, baby. Thank God. You know I'm going to run it into the ground. It'll be over everywhere. Okay? I'm going to be running this one. It was a fire show. And we're standing hard on our square, says Joe. To hell with RBG. That's right, DeAndre. Joel says, can you believe it? No, I never shed a tear now. No, you can't shed a tear for your oppressors, black and white. Black or white, you don't shed tears for your oppressor. That's ridiculous and foolish. They want to extinct you while fake outrage over it all, clutching their invisible pearls, like it's not all by design, like they're not approving of all of Trump's nominees. Give me a break. Nicole says Trump said that the Democrats left over 130 open slots for judges in their lap. We're doomed, and the Democrats did it. Absolutely. And before y'all blame the Republicans, let me help you understand, we had 2 years of a trifecta. We controlled the Congress when Obama was in there. He did nothing with those 130 seats. You see what I'm talking about? The complicity of it all? They're the same bird, family. Two sides, two wings of the same bird. Don't be fooled. I said it to my family and friend. She was no friend to ADOS. Her win in politics as she moved up was for the white women and white supremacists. Joe is talking specifically about RBG. That's right, family. 20 million Black babies aborted. We would be at about 55 million strong. Had we been able to have the resources. You want to put abortion clinics in our community over resources, over jobs, over education. Preschool to prison pipeline, I see you. Over homes, over businesses. And bringing everyone else to put their foot on our neck. Figuratively. Don Page, I love you, Black and Strong. That's ADOS Triangle. Triangle ADOS in the building. Thank you so much for joining the live. Okay, I jumped too far. I'm almost done, family. Let's see here. I never attached Roots in its entirety for fear of going to work and whip that white booty. Okay? Yes, Lord. Nisi says, even the Nazis did not believe in the one drop rule. Let that sink in. Oh my God. Well, listen, we're dealing with the worst of the Europeans that built this country. Is it no wonder we're still at war? And if there's a war being waged on the ADOS, they don't want to cut that check. They'd rather kill us. That's okay. We're going to lean in anyhow. It don't matter. We already on the bottom. Got to fight. Nowhere to go but up. Let's see. Joe says, you are truth telling and cracking me up. That empathy is alive and well today. Yes, it is. How we always forgiven. Ain't that the saddest? Oh my God. They can murder your own family member. You on there wanting a hug. Oh my God. It's a sickness. I tell you, post-traumatic slave syndrome is a real thing. The white man is the ADOS burden. Woo, you said that, Sister Joe. Because of their hatred and greed, hence mass incarceration like that of slavery. Yes, indeed. Private prisons is a new slavery. Preschool to prison pipeline. They're doing that. Miseducate your kids so they can lock them up. ADOS Rising, Black Agenda Report. Beware. Is that a show? Okay. I think y'all type it in there if it's a show. Nisi is ADOS Chicago. Oh, my word. I love me some Shy. I'm always over there pulling on Arthur Ward and Cynthia McDonald. Ooh, yes, child. You are Miss Greatness because you're great just like them. I'm so sure. Nisi says Wally Amos, who created Famous Amos, worth $20,000. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That just hit me. Love those cookies. I don't understand why he's only $20,000. Nisi, if you want to expound on that, I have to look that up. And oh my God, that hurts my heart. Black Agenda Report, Pan-Africanism, tread lightly. Equals Black Agenda Report equals Pan-Africanism, tread lightly. Well, I hear globally, Pan-Africanism is different than it is here. So I'm interested in exploring that a little bit more. I don't always take people's word for it, family. I have to read and make an informed decision. Agree with ADOS Rising. Okay, Taj Marie, I'll check it out. Angela, you are on fire. I can't stop cheering your show on. Lord, I ain't for everybody, but I'm glad I'm for y'all. ADOS Rising, Taj Marie. Yes, sir. Okay, thanks, sis. All right, y'all. I'll finish in an hour 28. Okay, it's better than the other day. Listen, listen. Hey, it is what it is. I have to get things off my chest, and I'm so grateful to you guys for being a landing place for me and my passion for ADOS. I thank you for being passionate. I thank you for fighting alongside me. I love you guys so much. I hope you really get that. I've not even met most of you, but I feel a connection to you through the ADOS, through the lineage, because lineage matters. With that said, family, let me pray you out because I could go on and on and on and sing several soliloquies and recite poems to tell you how much I love you, but we're out of time. So with that said, family, let me express to you that the light of God surrounds you, The love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God truly is, because family, you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until Sunday, family, if I don't do a pop-up show, you go out in this world and you act like you know who you are. ADOS. And you make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening and weekend until we meet again. I love you, Black. I love you, Strong. Mwah! Bye, family. Share, share, share. Peace. Deuces.